Hello, my name is Kenny Jones, and welcome to Community. Take one, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, welcome to Community, everybody. Today we have my guest, my good friend, Adrian Gutierrez.
What's
good,
up,
bro?
everybody?
How you doing?
Chilling, bro. Chilling.
So let's give them a little background of how we first met, or how we officially met, I guess.
Shit, I don't even remember. I feel like I'll just like see you around everywhere, and like just being from Vallejo, I feel like there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
When you see faces, it's kind of just like, oh, I've seen this dude around.
Right, right.
But I don't even remember what was it.
I think
wasn't
it's because of your
Momentum, was
uncle. Your uncle Jeremy? At Costco?
it? Really?
Yeah.
What the
We didn't meet, but he was like, yo, I got like my cousin down there, or my nephew down there, Adrian, and he goes to UCSD. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, I'll look out for him, but it's like a big school, I don't know. And then randomly, I think you're right, Momentum, the
Momentum?
first one. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, hey, I see you doing your thing. And you're like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. I still don't know. Disclaimer, I still don't know. What did you bought like a vest for me, right?
Yeah, I
And
bought
also
the,
that like mock neck.
Yeah.
Ooh, I missed
know?
that, bro. I missed
I
that.
bet you
It was the
do.
Warriors one, right?
Yeah.
You still wear it?
I still got it, yeah.
That shit was hard.
Yeah, it really was,
Yeah.
honestly. But let's start to talk about like your fashion sense. Like, where do you think it started from? Do you think you have like any influences, major influences, or and how did you become JoogPlusGoods?
Sure, I'll probably start off with the JoogPlusGoods part.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Before I did vintage, I started as like a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my main thing. So I was like doing photography, and then from there, I just felt like I wasn't really able to like express myself.
Right.
Because I think it's so hard because with photography, you're just capturing what already exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sure, you could like share your perspective of the world through photography, but at least for me, the narrative just wasn't really working.
Yeah.
So after like just hanging out with a bunch of my photographer friends, going out to a bunch of photo shoots, doing a bunch of like random shit, you know,
Yeah.
I started going onto the other side of the camera, doing like modeling.
Right.
And that was really fun. Like at first, like I was just like very uncomfortable and kind of just like
Yeah, like
yeah. Cause like I'd always like I'd kind of use like my camera as like an excuse
Mm-hmm.
to like if I'm at like an event, I could just be shooting and not have to talk to people.
Right.
Or I just kind of like hide behind it, and I was like comfortable there.
Yeah.
So for me to like model, I was like definitely like getting out of my comfort zone. I never really did anything like too serious with it. It was just like for like friends, brands
Yeah.
in like San Diego, some like small brands in the Bay Area, stuff like that.
Right.
And then I started getting into styling.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I started JoogPlusGoods was because I wanted to have inventory to like style people.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like the main purpose. And I feel like over time it just turned into something completely different.
Right, but that happens. I feel like it's still been like pretty great for you still because
Yeah.
you still got the stylings out of it.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I could do more. That's kind of just like a very, very minor aspect of like the business.
Right,
But it's something that I'm like always willing to do.
definitely.
So now that I'm starting to do like more markets outside of San Diego, like more so in like LA, I'm just kind of like putting it out there that, oh, this is what I do aside from just like the vintage aspect.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely. That's crazy.
But I mean, like, in terms of like just to speak more on the vintage, like, I've been like thrifting my whole life, bro.
Yeah.
Like me and my dad would go to garage sales in
Mhm.
Vallejo,
yeah.
and like he was like really into like interior design,
Mm-hmm.
so he liked to collect like random things for the house,
Right.
like random statues and paintings and stuff like that, and like I kind of just like would go with him
Mhm.
like every weekend, and I feel like from there I was just like that was my first time being exposed to like bartering or
right.
buying like used product and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we would also have our own garage sales.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have our garage sales at our house, and like my dad would even let me like sell clothes that I thrifted.
Dang.
And that's like I don't even know how long ago that was.
Right,
but,
right. Like the early beginnings.
yeah. I definitely remember like I don't know, just like selling like random like Banana Republic jackets that I thought was cool at the time,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like I've been kind of doing similar stuff my whole life, but I didn't start taking it seriously until like a year and like 6 months ago.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy too, because I mean, it's like the design aspect is like been in your family. Like your dad obviously had an eye for things too, so
yeah,
it's kind of crazy how it passed down.
It's weird because my dad's like a very, very simple guy. Like
Yeah.
if you see him, like he wears like Quicksilver and like chino shorts like every single day.
Yeah.
But like his eye for things, like especially like if you just walk around your house, like you could tell like he cares about how every single thing is placed.
Yeah.
So I guess like that kind of translated to like how I'm very like particular about how things are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and my mom's also like a hairstylist too. So like I feel like it's kind of just like, it's not necessarily like I'm doing what my parents are doing, but certain things that they do translate to what I'm doing now.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So like the eye for things, or like just like I guess like designing things in general, or being like artistic or creative, you know?
Yeah, it's just, I guess it's just the creative aspect.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's super dope. I'm trying to think of something my dad passed down to me. I don't think it's any creativity, but it's okay. It's all good. He made me kind of funny, so that works out for me.
Nice.
Yeah. Adrian's like, you're not funny at all.
Let me think about that for a second.
I'm done. Nah. So, but do you think, besides your parents, that there's any like creative influences that you've had, or there was like a specific moment where you're like, oh, like this is the time where I'm gonna just do it, or any of that?
Yeah, well, there's like, so in terms of just like people who have influenced me, I'd say like one of the biggest ones is like my older brother.
Right.
Because around the time where I left to go to college at UCSD, he actually got a job to do a show in Vegas to dance like full time.
Yeah.
So I think like always having the influence of someone who's pursuing their passion and who isn't afraid to like go against the grain, like go against what everyone is saying, is do what you love.
Right.
Like that's just always something that's like stuck with me. But I don't think I like fully was able to like capitalize on it, or more so like realize that I wanted that in my life too until like later on.
Right, because I feel like it's hard to like develop that too as like someone younger, especially like in high school. It's like everybody's giving you ideas and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, bro, honestly, like I'm sure you could relate, but like the only reason why I went to UCSD was because I was trying to get as far away from Cologne as possible, bro. And like I wasn't trying to go out of state because like we don't got money for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
like, San Diego was like the farthest school that I got accepted into.
Right.
Like I didn't even know anything about UCSD, bro.
Me either. Like, actually, no. I just knew I didn't want to go to Davis. And I was like, that is out of the question. I'm not staying anywhere near this place. Like, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah, for me, I think it was like the fact that it was split up into 6 different colleges.
Right.
I probably just thought that was cool, and that's as far as it goes.
And then you realize when you got there, like, well, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even know what engineering was. I didn't know what to expect. Like, bro, it was just all bad.
Right. And you did engineering in school.
Yeah. I did. That's like an afterthought, bro.
That's crazy.
I don't even think about it. Like, not trying to be like, oh, like I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But it's just like my life is just so focused on one thing right now that like a lot of things from the past are just like in the past.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it also just speaks to like undergraduate doesn't define you at all. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like that's a stepping stone, and maybe he taught you how to be like disciplined, taught you how to like think critically, but not necessarily like we didn't need that. You didn't need that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Because now we have debt.
Right.
And like that's how we learn.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, shit, I don't know. Like I'm the first one to go to college, like in my family, so it's like,
me too.
You know, we just got to be the guinea pigs.
Right. It was like, well, I think that's the right thing to do, so let's do that. Let's try it, and then we found out we like other things. We're like, oh crap, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly. But to go back to your question, was there like a certain moment in my life where I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do this?
Yeah.
So there's like a couple of things, like just because like as I said earlier, like I've been thrifting my whole life, so any like free time I would have, I would just always go to thrift stores and like just like kind of like explore the city through thrifting.
Right.
So that was like a really important aspect of like my life. And I remember it was like my second year of college. I was like back in the Bay, going to like Berkeley.
Yeah.
To thrift, because like that's what everyone does, right?
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Yeah, and then I remember there was this dude who had like a clothing rack on the street, and it wasn't attached to any event or like any market. He was just on the street like hustling. So he was just like selling clothes, and I asked him like, oh, like what are you doing here? And he was like, oh, I just like travel the world like buying and selling clothes. And that was like my first time kind of like meeting someone who like does it for a living.
Right.
And like at the time, like it was tight as fuck. I still have the shirt that I bought from him.
Damn.
It was like this like paisley like Docker shirt. I could probably like bring it down later.
Yeah, later.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
But that was like my first time meeting someone who like did this business like full time. And like that was like years before I even thought about it.
Right.
But I think that interaction kind of like cemented something in me that I realized like later on, you know, like that it's possible, because this dude's traveling the world,
right?
And he had like sick ass shit too, like things that like I feel like I wouldn't have been able to find on my own at the time.
Right. Now you're
JoogPlusGoods. Yeah. But when I made the decision to do it full time, it was at a time where when I was working for the city, my internship was ending.
Right.
And I was doing enough events to where I wasn't making as much as I was as an engineer, but it was like enough to get by.
Right.
And there's a lot of like circumstantial things that I was dealing with too, that kind of helped me grow in terms of like my self-awareness and like my worth. So just like certain situations that kind of like pushed me to like realize certain aspects of myself. And then with the timing of my internship ending and my business doing well, I was like, there's no better time than now.
Right. I think I remember asking you too then, like, oh, like, you think you're about to do it? And you're like, yeah, after this internship, I think I'm going to do it, but I don't know, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah, I know. It's been like, what, since June, like, almost like 8 months now, full time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. Do you think that you have any other, like, fashion influences, or maybe like a brand that you like that you think like spoke to you or anything?
To be honest, it's hard, because I feel like for me, like, I'm not necessarily like influenced by specific people or brands. I feel like it's more so like my everyday interactions. I think I gain more inspiration from things like outside of the field of fashion that like help me out. So like if I'm just like walking around and it's like a nice sunset, I'll just like, I don't know, just get ideas from that.
Right.
Or just like very like like not abstract, like not
essential.
If you know me, oh, is it recording?
Yeah.
If you know me, you know that that's one of my favorite snacks of all time.
Now I know.
All right.
I'm gonna finish this gummy worm real quick.
All right, take 4.
Take 7. We're
Something
back.
like that. Quick snack break.
Right. So we were talking about your influences,
Uh-huh.
and you were saying that there's no particular person, but what you were saying was,
Yeah, so essentially like what I'm most inspired by is like everyday people. Just like seeing what people wear, whether it's they're walking around downtown or they're like in North Park or they're just going to work. I think it's more interesting to like see how people put their outfits together in those scenarios than it is like on some like high fashion shit, you know?
yeah.
Just because it's like at the end of the day, like all that high fashion stuff, like no one's gonna be wearing that on a day-to-day basis.
Right, it's not
like,
practical.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want to see what people wear every single day, and I just think like there's like so many different ways that you could like make it like cool, or like make like everyday like just regular pants like work to make like a dope ass fit.
Yeah.
So it's mainly just like what I'm influenced by is just like being observant and just like seeing what people are wearing.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. But I didn't say this earlier, but there are like a few things that I do like on YouTube that I watch. Like there's this like fashion channel called like PAQ.
PAQ.
Are you familiar with it? Have you heard of it?
I think I have heard of it, definitely.
Yeah, so they do like weekly challenges where every week they'll so there's one time where their challenge was to find a fit at Rose Bowl.
Right.
And so they went around buying stuff, and at the end of their day they had like a certain budget, and then they make a fit from it. And like one of the dudes actually bought something for me.
Oh,
and, like,
damn.
Yeah, my piece is actually in the episode, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, definitely.
And it had like a very short cameo. But I think because they were going so quick and they didn't know where the booths were,
yeah,
like they weren't able to like sign their releases, so that we could like show our actual face and like talk in the episode.
Right.
But like, yeah, so like that's like one of my influences too, just because like with that channel, there's like 4 different people with very different styles, and it's very interesting just to see like they're doing similar challenges, but they're able to create like entirely different things.
Right.
So it's like stuff like that's like pretty cool to me too.
Definitely, I gotta check that out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'll link you, bro. I'll link you to the episode I'm in.
And
I'm gonna send you the timestamp and everything.
Yeah, definitely. But you talked about selling at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the different places or locations that you're like going to right now, or different events, or can I just hit you up and be like, hey, I need you at my event?
Yeah, actually, like, so this year, like, we talked about it a little bit, but I kind of set, like, certain goals for myself, and one of my main goals was to start doing markets in LA, and that's mainly because, like, the industry that I'm in is there.
Right.
At least, like, that's, like, the hub on, like, the West Coast.
Right.
So it's, like, if I'm gonna, like, really take this business seriously, I need to, like, start being... like just putting myself out there and like meeting people who are doing things that like I want to do in the future outside of vintage.
Right.
So right now I'm mainly focused on like doing events in LA, but like I'm always willing to do events in San Diego. Like for instance, this weekend there's Synergy again,
right,
which is hosted by Roanne and Andy Tran.
Definitely,
yeah.
Some dope people.
You should definitely interview her because she's tight as fuck.
Roanne, you're next.
Yeah.
You're coming, don't
and
worry.
Andy too, because
Andy's already on there.
Oh yeah, oh that's right. You told me about that. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just like, as long as like the people are cool, and like I really like connect with the purpose of the events, like I'm always willing to like do pop-ups.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I'm starting to like kind of like be a little bit more particular with the kinds of events that I do now, just because like it's getting to the point where like you can like pick and choose them. You know?
Definitely.
Which is like a good and bad thing, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like almost comfortable, but you're like, I probably should be doing more.
Yeah,
that type. Yeah.
Always like stressing, but we're okay and we don't need to stress.
Right.
Always. That's just how I work.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think you see yourself ever like designing your own clothes?
I don't know, like honestly, like right now I'm kind of just like so when I was in college, I was doing like so many different things all at once, like especially in my last semester, like I was working 3 jobs, I was in like 3 project classes, and it was just like maintaining all the organizations I was in, all the projects, all that type of stuff. Like it was like way too much.
Right.
So when I decided to do this business, I really wanted to just focus on like one thing and be really, really good at it.
Right.
Because like my whole life, I've never really dedicated myself to like one thing. I've always kind of had like, what is it called?
Like a jack of all trades, like.
Not that. It's more just like commitment issues.
Yeah.
You know, just like, yeah. Yeah. If you know, you know. So, but like,
continue.
Yeah. So, but it was like, it was mainly just like me not really being comfortable with allowing myself to like shine in a particular thing.
Right.
I feel like I'd always be interested in things, and then be semi good with it, and then like abandon it for the next thing. So I think like doing this business is the first time that I've ever like fully dedicated myself to something and like really like made it the intention to like learn and like be good at it. So like right now, like that's been the main focus, and I think it's gotten to the point now where I'm at a place where I could start to like try different things again.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, the main things like I want to start getting back into is like photography. It's not so much like designing my own clothes, just because like, I mean, look around like here, you know, like there's way too much clothes out there in the world.
Definitely.
And I feel like I feel like it's really hard to build a brand right now because you really have to stand out and be doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when the time comes and when I figure out what it is I would need to do with my own brand, then like maybe it'll happen. But I just want it to happen like organically. I don't want to like think about it too much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, my bad. That was like a lot.
No, you're good. No,
I'm
I'm
just
like rethinking it.
Yeah, so it's like, as I said earlier, like I feel like every single thing I've ever done has led me to this point.
Yeah.
And it's just mainly like all my experiences and like everything that I've learned has, you know, shaped me into who I am today. So
definitely.
that's like a little part of it. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you see what is like the next big thing for you, or what's like next on your radar? You have another event coming up. You have.
Honestly, like my biggest thing is just to make sure that this business is sustainable.
Right.
Like I feel like in order to quit your 9 to 5 like 40-hour a week job, you need to work like 80 hours just to like make like the same ends meet.
Yeah.
So I think right now, like as I said earlier, like I've basically like figured out how to like do that. I just need to like be more efficient. So it's not really any like big goals for me right now. The main thing is just like learning how to be better, like learning how to be more efficient with my time and like make sure that all the events I'm doing, I'm hitting my goals, like financially and also like with everything else.
Definitely. I think that's a great goal too, because I mean that's the main thing is keeping it together for as long as you can.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like just like this is like a big thing for me. Like going through college, I feel like I never knew how to just like be in the moment. I was always worried about the next thing.
Yeah.
And so like as I said earlier, like doing this business, I want everything to be as organic as possible and not really like, if I'm thinking too hard about something, I feel like that's probably not the direction I want to go.
Yeah, definitely.
So like if it comes naturally, then it'll happen, you know? So I think that's like kind of where I'm at right now. It's just like, you know, now that I've built the brand to where it is now, I have more time to think. So
yeah,
it's just like step by step.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah,
is there any last things that you want to say to the people? Say hello to someone or shout outs or whatever you want to do.
Let's see. I mean, I guess I could just talk a little bit more about like how I curate my clothes, because I think it's like very important for me.
Yeah.
So I think like when people come to the booth, I want them to not only feel comfortable, but also like get out of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people nowadays are too stuck in like trying to be a particular way or like trying to have a particular style. I think it's important to like really be open-minded and like be open to just like different perspectives, different styles, different ways of thinking. And I think that translates to clothing too. Like you could be open-minded in terms of like how you dress or how you express yourself through fashion. And I just want people to like just like think about it, you know, like you don't have to be that way.
Right,
but
right.
It's important to have that kind of mindset with like not only clothes but like everything you do in life. And I think
Definitely.
like everything will become like a lot easier.
Yeah, and I think you've even helped me to push me out of my comfort zone too, because I feel like without like the norm for people getting clothes and stuff is like go to the mall, you gotta drop like $150 every time for like whatever you want. It's like that's not sustainable. I'm going to school. I don't have no money. Like how am I supposed to do that? But like I think you open that door to say like there are whatever you want. Like everything is out there. You just gotta find it or look for the particular person that has it.
Yeah, like this Levi's 1984 Summer Olympics tracksuit from JoogPlusGoods.
JoogPlusGoods.
Also featured on the Sneakers app. Same pair of pants. So I can link y'all to that too.
Link it, please. We're about to link it to it.
Yeah, for sure.
But again,
yeah, no, I appreciate you having me, bro.
Thank you. It's
For
been
sure.
a long time coming.
I know, my bad, bro.
You're good, busy man.
Yeah,
80 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy I did this. This is
Definitely.
exciting.
For sure.
Cool.